because the difference between ordinary results and extraordinary ones rarely comes from working harder. It comes from seeing differently. Most people live inside invisible boundaries, not physical boundaries, mental ones. Rules they never question, systems they assume cannot change. Habits they follow because everyone else follows them. And slowly those invisible boundaries become cages. People stop experimenting, stop questioning, stop noticing opportunities sitting right in front of them. But creative thinkers behave differently. They look at the same world everyone else sees, yet they ask slightly different questions. Why is it done this way? What assumption is hiding here? What would happen if we changed the situation? Those questions sound simple, but they unlock powerful possibilities. Because once you begin questioning assumptions, something interesting happens. The world stops looking fixed. It starts looking flexible. Problems become puzzles. Limitations become design challenges. And suddenly you begin seeing opportunities hidden inside everyday situations. Let me tell you one final story that captures this perfectly. During World War II, Allied bombers were suffering heavy losses. Aircraft returning from missions were covered with bullet holes. Military engineers began analyzing the damage to determine where additional armor should be added. They mapped every bullet hole on the returning aircraft. The wings were full of damage, the fuselage was full of damage, the tail sections were covered with holes. The obvious conclusion seemed clear: reinforce those areas with stronger armor. But a statistician named Abraham Wald noticed something strange. The planes being analyzed were the ones that survived. Those aircraft had taken damage in those areas and still managed to return safely, which meant something important. The planes that had been hit somewhere else never returned. So Wald suggested reinforcing the areas without bullet holes. The engines, the cockpit, the fuel system. Those were the parts where damage caused the aircraft to crash before reaching base. It was a completely different way of looking at the data. Everyone else was focusing on the obvious evidence. Wald focused on the missing evidence, and that insight saved countless aircraft and lives. This is the essence of creative thinking. Looking at the same information everyone else sees, but asking a different question. Now think about how this idea applies to everyday life. Most people focus on what is visible, the successful company, the popular product, the famous entrepreneur, but they rarely examine what isn't visible, the mistakes avoided, the assumptions challenged, the invisible decisions that changed everything. Success is rarely about a single brilliant idea. More often, it is about connecting small insights over time. One observation leads to another. One adjustment creates another opportunity. One idea combines with another until something larger begins.